this is an intentional product.
Correct. It's very intentional to make sure, good people have the ability to
Yeah.
protect themselves at an entirely new level.
What's the best advice you would give for an entrepreneur out there building a brand?
I would say be consistent,
Mhm.
right? Be consistent. And here's nothing too. If you don't believe in what you have, no one else is going to.
So,
Oh, fucking hell.
we gotta have we're gonna
Oh,
have
shit.
some
Ow.
we're gonna have some bloopers with him.
Oh, yeah.
We always have bloopers when I'm around. Or
Back at it again. Welcome to the EMP podcast, where it's entrepreneurship, mindset, and purpose. Of course, I'm the host, JP, and we have PJ as the co-host,
hi.
and we have a special guest, Scott Hunt.
Hey, what's up, man?
Scott Hunt with the SWAT Optics.
SWAToptics.com. That's it.
How's your morning going so far?
Man, it's good, man. It's good. I can't complain, man. As long as I got my coffee, man, I'm rocking.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. What about you, PJ?
Well, all I need is some Chick-fil-A and some coffee. I think we need to get sponsored by Chick-fil-A. Yo, Chick-fil-A, where you at?
Yeah.
We got to get this man, PJ. What's up with the screen? We got to get that
Ah,
together.
fuck.
Yeah.
That should do
Have
it.
you ever tried the Chick-fil-A app?
Yeah.
That was the worst thing my friend Taylor could have ever given me.
What?
It was the worst thing. Do you know how much money I lost over that Chick-fil-A app? I'm like, I literally went to town on that app, man. Talk about a fantastic invention. But I'm like, you know what? My kids need nuggets today. I'm getting my salad. That's that Southwest salad.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
With
liked
the
it?
I used to work there, so I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. I tear up that salad and that spicy Chick-fil-A.
So you got a pretty interesting background. Could you elaborate a little bit about your life journey
Sure,
on
sure.
whatever information you can give?
Yeah, for sure. So, in my early 20s, I was in very advanced schools for bodyguards.
Mhm.
I went to schools like ESI. I did SWAT in Irving, Strategic Weapons Academy of Texas. I did a bunch of them. Anyway, so I learned a lot, and I got to train with a lot of really a ton of badasses, right? So, for
Right.
example, like some of these people, like I trained with one guy. His name was Jack McGeorge. He's a former UN's weapons inspector.
My
I mean, when you
goodness.
can learn from people like that, or Master Bob Dugan, who's in the World's Martial Arts Hall of Fame, or you can take classes, even the study material was absolutely fantastic. And
Mhm.
so for example, we had study material from Dick Barber, selected by the president of one of the world's 100 best shooters. When you're taking in this kind of knowledge, you're literally, whether it's course material, whether you're in the field, whether you're actually learning stuff at an entirely new level. You're not learning it. You're learning it from the master. You're not learning it from it's not diluted.
Working
You're
your
getting
levels up. You're getting the
you're
best
getting
level.
you're getting the very best level. You're getting people that work for the government. So for example, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center used to send people there, and there were people from the Pentagon there while I was doing resident training. I got
Mhm.
hurt and didn't get to finish it, but I still did all my coursework and everything else. And already, I would already had my state license for what is known back then was called an advanced level 4. So it means like an advanced bodyguard. Now Texas only has it level 4. They don't do that anymore.
Mm.
But anyway, I eventually I got a job with a company with a Homeland Security contract called Coastal International Security. And they kept going on what they call protests. So in other words, the government and parties within the government kept fighting over, oh, we don't want you to have Glocks because it looks intimidating. We don't want you to carry body armor. And anyway, so they kept going through this, and they kept stopping us in the academy over and over and over and over and over. I was the top of our academy. And then after about a year and a half, I also have degrees. And about a year and a half later, I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous, man. And then if I took a job other than like a temp agency, I had to go back and go fill out some other top secret form at the federal building. And so I can't remember. It was like Form 54B or 54B. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah,
I
sounds-
don't remember. But anyway, it was a long time ago, right? You're talking 20 years ago. Anyway, so essentially, I got a job. This is completely different. I got a job with the Oncology Treatment Center and John D. Hunt MDPA. And so anyway, I started running a clinic. Had no previous experience running a medical clinic.
Mhm.
My father was involved. I didn't grow up with my father at all, but people were ripping him off. he didn't know how to find any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as a bodyguard, it's not how big and tough you are. A bullet is a bullet. I don't care if you're 6'5" or you're 4'10".
Right.
A bullet is a bullet. So you have to be able to use your mind. Okay. And what you put online can help track back to where you are or where you're going to be.
Okay.
Okay. And so I had to learn a lot about, so it really brightened me. It enlightened me on the need for computer security. So I literally, they wrote contracts for all the staff to understand the computers are monitored, yada, 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 yada.
Right.
And I essentially got into all the computers, hacked all the computers, got all the passwords for everything, figured out where everybody was stealing. Took me about 3 months, yeah. And found out it was millions of dollars in the hole with $728 in the bank. And anyway, so
When you found that problem out, did you what
it
did-
was
what did you
big.
do
Law
next?
enforcement got involved and everything else. And I tracked it down. And a lot of the funds were gone and the equipment was gone and they tried to sabotage numerous things. And anyway, so I ended up creating a relationship with another hospital and we left the oncology treatment center and we went to in San Angelo. And then I had spoke with the CEO of another company called Community Health. I said, look, I want to bring over here, got better paying patients over here. I want to, so they built the building. I gave them my blueprints. They built the building to spec. We had to rent the building legally. And all of a sudden, I pulled us out of the hole and I did it for 10 years. And then I had a medical billing company until ICD 10, until Obamacare, Affordable Care Health Act.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I stayed in that field for 10 years. And I did consulting for a bunch of different companies like New Pharma Testing, West Texas Nephrology, different cardiology clinics, and so on and so forth. And so I got into the business really heavily, and most people didn't know about my past. They just thought, man, he's sharp. He's in business. He's got degrees and stuff, man.
Right.
But they didn't know. You get the idea. And so then years later, I ended up getting into, I ended up getting that month that I left, I had signed my resignation in December and I stayed on till April, but I'd already signed my resignation. I said I was leaving in December.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it 6 months in advance. I stayed on till May. I got hired on by Scott Richardson to go work with a company called Pendrell and the Content Guard. And I helped design and work on the analytics side and strategy for an app that was featured by MIT.
Wow.
And so Scott Richardson, if you don't know, he used to work side by side with Steve Jobs.
Oh, nice.
And so I got into that. And then we had a massive lawsuit with Amazon and Google and so on and so forth. And anyway, so because they were utilizing our patents, our 1985 DRM patents, and we proved that they were using our patented technology in court, but we weren't awarded anything. And so the company, just the publicly traded company says, you know what, we're going to close the section down. Like, what? So anyway, so then I need a job, and I have a friend of mine named Ruben, and Ruben says, you know what, dude, you should be a realtor. I said, nah, dude, come on. Everybody and their dog is a realtor, bro. He said, just do it. So I did it, and I designed this app, and what it would do, it was reposting. And I set up all these, so Facebook changed how it used to be able to search by hashtags, and it wasn't
Right.
filtered by page and people and yada. It worked a lot like Twitter. And so I did one on Twitter as well. So I made this for Facebook, Twitter, a bunch of different platforms.
So that app reposts, that's you?
Yes. And so, so I designed this. It was the second one in the world that had ever come up with, but nobody had ever designed one like this. It had all kinds of tools built in, right? And it would even track your engagement via social, like way before anybody was doing this, right? And Instagram, Pinterest, it would track all of your social, like inbound traffic. And so I did $5 million in gross sales in real estate back in 2014, I think 2014, maybe 2015. I don't remember. It's one of those. Anyway, 2015. And then I had a broker, and he says, all listings belong to the broker. And he decided to keep my stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I went to go work for another company. And the other company says, look, Scott, we know you joined the Army a long time ago and got hurt. How about let's come be our CTO, our Chief Technology Officer. Help us build out our stuff. And guess what? We turn around and we help veterans. Everybody gives 10%. I said, I'm game. I built out the platform. They were full of it. I built out everything. When it came time to honor my contract, they're giving me like let me just keep the money from my own deals. They wouldn't even give me a contract. So I was like, okay, I unplugged, and then I left, and then I crushed it for years. Then some companies were working on Amazon. They said, hey man, Scott, can you help us out? Can you figure this out? Bro, do you know who you're talking to? I can figure anything out. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? I'm not one of those people that comes up with excuses. I figure it out. I don't care if it takes me 1,000 nights, 1,000 sleepless nights. I will figure it out.
Trust me, I've seen this guy awake at 4 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I
I've
don't
called
quit.
him at 4 in the morning when I was up, and I'm like, "How are you still awake?" I'm like, "This is the 6th night in a row you're still up till 4 AM.
Yep.
I'm a kid. I can live. How are you alive?"
Yeah, good question. I just don't. I have zero quit.
Right.
I don't care if I sleep 3 hours a night. I have zero quit until I get done what I need to get done. Where I feel like I've set this goal for myself, a realistic goal, and until I have accomplished that goal, I don't rest. That goal is going to get accomplished, and so I ended up doing my own thing in real estate with another broker, with Minerva Realty, with a friend of mine named Chris,
Yeah.
and just crushed it for years. And so then I'm helping these guys out on Amazon. And then we later on had our own company, and we were shipping to like 180 Amazon fulfillment centers and everything else. But then Amazon starts taking people's inventory and confiscating it for like ridiculous reasons, and then you can't follow up with seller support. We provide invoices and so on. So
So that's
you're
a whole story in itself.
that's a
right
whole
there.
story in itself. But essentially, I grew a company from, I grew a company that, and I was the one who did all of the revenue generating. So essentially, I literally grew the company from from $2,000 to like you're talking like almost $20 million.
Yeah, multi-million.
Yeah, multi-million dollars, and I did it. You a lot of times people don't realize that a lot of your failures in life help you to get where you need to be, and so essentially I've been working on my own optics since 2018. But I was so busy with this other company, I would have never done it. And I was so stressed with this other company that I took over that I should have never taken over. And I should have never even have done it. But I was so stressed that instead of working on what I was supposed to do, instead of doing what God had ordained me to do, put in front of me to do.
Which this is the SWAT Optics.
That's correct.
now.
Yeah, correct. And so, and people say, well, how do you know that? How do you know that that's what God wanted you to do? So every time, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have ups and downs,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
And nothing is just up, 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 up. And if it is, you're going to hit a growing pain eventually along that way, and things are going to start to collapse, and you're going to have to figure it out,
Right.
And you may not have to. It may not be something you can save, and that's one of the hardest lessons I had to learn too. Is I might be like a machine, but I can't save everything, right? Sometimes you have, and this is the toughest thing for me, is I think I'm a machine. I can fix it. I can do anything, right? But there's a reality to that.
If you can do everything and anything, you will amount to nothing.
Yeah.
Or there's a saying out there.
But
You're so talented.
Yeah, I'm talented, but I couldn't stop sabotage. I couldn't stop Amazon. I couldn't stop, and so essentially, I ended up going back and looking at the stuff that I had created in 2018, and I found this German company,
Okay.
and they have manufacturing in China as well, but they have it all over the world. And so anyway, so I messaged them and I said, hey, look, I've got this idea for my own optic. They're like, well, we need, you got to buy 300 units. I'm looking at doing the math, man. And I'm like, man, I don't have $200,000 for this, man. That's no way.
Right.
So I said, look, here's my plans. Sign this form. Here's my plans. They signed it, got it back to me. I sent them my plans. I said, look, and they had one of their guys on from China as well, from the manufacturer there, and they signed everything, and they sent me their forms from China to sign everything. And anyway, so I've got it with multiple different companies. But anyway, essentially the cool part about the whole thing is I would have never got to this juncture. I would have never got to this juncture had this not happened to me. Right. So, so let me explain. If I had never been a bodyguard and never had any of that training, I would have never designed this optic. If I would have never been ranking and doing branding and in the Amazon space or for these other companies or for my real estate or building these tools and understanding social signals and working for companies and helping build apps featured by MIT and helping them rank in analytics, I would have never got to this point.
Right.
Right. And so, so I remember that day I was sitting on my couch and I was starting to tear up. I was like, God, please give me a better idea. God, please, please. And I got the pictures of it on my phone. I think I shared it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a buddy of mine, Taylor, had gave me a Chuck Missler book. It was I think he's a Baptist preacher. And, whether you're religious or not, this is the truth. And I said, man, they're just going to take my idea and they're never going to do it for this, for this little small quantity of units, right? And I pushed my computer away and I went to the bathroom. And in my bathroom, I have a library, like a legitimate library in my bathroom.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so I literally closed my eyes and I grabbed a book. And I mean, I got stuff Marcus Aurelius and Shaolin Kung Fu and, I mean, you name it. I got so much stuff, man, in there. It's ridiculous. And so anyway, I grabbed this book. I never paid attention to this book. I couldn't even tell you what the book looked like. I couldn't even tell you if you showed me the book right now. And I opened it up. Page 43 at the top says the scope. I said, before I saw that, I said, God, give me an answer. Tell me what I'm supposed to do, God. What is it, God? Give me an answer. Please, God, give me an answer. And I said, God, the first thing that I see, and I opened it up and my thumb was right there on the words, the scope. In a religious book, he's talking about the scope of what happened that day. It's like a breakdown, a summary.
Right.
I didn't read anywhere in the summary. The first thing I saw said the scope. So what are the chances you're going to pick up a religious text and the first thing that you open up to says the scope?
It was a divine order or
That's
purpose.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then I think about how everything came to be and how I've also been doing optics for the last 10 years.
Right.
On the side so that, so for example, when I wasn't making money in these other ventures, I could keep this going to take care of my family because, I have a giant family.
Right.
I got 5 daughters and 2 sons. And so, so anyway, so that's essentially how it came to be, man.
That's amazing. You have any questions?
I'm letting you go.
Yeah, let's roll.
You see what I'm doing. I'm just I'm just stomping away.
He's just laid back and stuff. How do you balance things with, the you're a husband, you're a father of 7, big family. You have multiple ventures going.
Yep.
Not just the SWAT Optics. You got other things that you're involved in. How do you balance your life?
I'm hardworking. I didn't say I'm balanced.
See,
Okay, so-
here's
Yeah.
I'll put in there too. Like you can have multiple ventures.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you're told to only do one and
Yeah.
then succeed in that and then continue on. But now if you look at everything, everyone's got like 40 of them.
Yeah.
40 is excessive, but most people have like 3 or 4. And I'm like, that's not enough. You need like 5 or 6. But everyone's like, oh, but we don't get to sleep. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you gotta, what's the word?
Just keep going and keep growing, or what?
I mean, I was literally up till 5 in the morning, and then I came here. You see this whole mess I have here. That's literally the only reason for that. But, I woke up an hour ago. So literally, as long as you're always working, there's nothing stopping you from succeeding.
So there's no balance in your life.
Oh hell no,
No sleep structure, nothing.
no.
Yeah.
He's
Sleep
young.
structure doesn't exist.
But
I
I
mean-
do spend time with my kids the best that I can.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's so many things that I have to get done.
Right.
And I want to spend the time with them. And I want to spend the time with my little woman. And I desperately do.
Yeah.
But
You're only one person, though.
But I'm only one person.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to grow this company. Now, when it hits critical mass, then that's golden. When I can hire more people to come on and work with me and everything else.
So what's the game plan? And why is this optics different than any other?
So that's
optics out there?
That's a very good question. What differentiates the SWAT Optics LPVO HSS DMR from
Yes.
any other optic? One, the glass clarity. The
Right.
glass clarity. Now, people say, well, there's Vortex Razor, there's Leupold, and they have great glass. I'm not saying that they don't. If you're comparing us to like the top line. Our glass is
Yeah.
comparable to the top line. The edge-to-edge clarity is fantastic. It's brighter than a lot of other optics. But what really sets us apart is our patent-pending reticle design. It's a 96-page patent. And what sets us apart is the reticle design.
Mhm.
And that reticle design allows you to measure urban structures. The optic is specifically designed for urban combat.
Okay.
And so when I can measure urban structures in just a few minutes, or a few seconds, it makes things much easier because the hardest thing about shooting is knowing how far away something is.
Right.
Okay. And people say, well, I like mils or MOA. Okay, great. Have you ever done the math for mils or MOA? Now try to figure out mils and MOA with, with multiple, with multiple targets or under pressure, right? If somebody's shooting at you, do you want to go figure out mils to fire back at them? You want to do complex math calculations to fire back at them?
No.
Of course not, right?
I
And
won't.
so if you don't want to, if you're not trying to, you get the idea. If you're not trying to, uh, you don't want to sit there and have to do math calculations. I don't care how good you are at it. I don't care how long you've been doing it.
If somebody's shooting at me, the first thing that's coming to I'm trying to defend myself.
Yeah,
Trying to live.
I'm trying to live.
correct.
I'm not trying to think of no mathematical problems or anything like that. If anything, I'm trying to see how I'm about to take out my opponent.
Yeah, correct. And so, so with that being noted, that how far away is that opponent? How far away is that person?
Where's the
You know,
bullets coming from? What
correct.
direction?
Yeah,
You
correct.
gotta
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
factors. Yeah.
But then when you figure out where it's coming from or where it's potentially coming from, how far away is it? And
Mm.
that is huge because if you don't know how far away it is, you can't just shoot at it. I mean, you can shoot at it, but you're not going to hit it, and you're responsible for every round you shoot.
I just had got the analogy of like, you know how we're playing the golf game over at Trev's and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
And you got the driver, you got the 9-iron, you got the 7, whatever, the clubs, the putt and stuff like that. So depending on what range, you need the particular right equipment to,
correct. That's
shoot down
correct.
your target.
Correct. Same thing. And if not, and if you, and so like people say, well, man, I use a red dot on almost everything. And I said, okay, great. Have you seen the video that I posted with Stan? And this is
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I've seen it.
yes. So if that
Yeah.
target is camouflaged and 400 yards away, can you see it with your red dot? And
No,
probably not, right?
not at all.
And when he's pegging 4-inch gongs at 429 yards with no prior training, never shot beyond 100 yards, and he's using the reticle, that tells you how easy it is to use.
Wow.
Or 8-inch gongs at 653 yards that are camouflaged.
I was
Can't do
gonna
that with a red dot.
I was gonna add something, but I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
The part where when we talked and you said it might get removed from.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so the optic might be eventually. I had a phone call the other day, and the optic might be removed from the public domain and might be like a military police only type thing.
Right.
Military agencies and
Yeah,
police
because it's
only.
not. It has features that are built into it, make it stupid, simple, fast. I studied human factoring.
Right.
There's a lot of science that's involved, lots of math.
He has like 57 goddamn equations on that thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and not even on this one. That's on the other one. So that's on one you.
This one's the new one, right?
No.
This is the old one.
This is the older one. This is the analog. But I mean, when you have team coordinated movements within an optic, like what?
Yeah.
Like
That's
fields
some
of fire?
advance.
Yeah, fields of fire. Nobody's ever done that, right? And so when you can measure urban structures in a second.
So this is not for the general public.
Well, right now it is, but it won't.
It's available while you can get it
Correct, but it might be taken off very soon.
I see.
within the next 2 months, give
I
or take.
mean,
Yeah,
this week we had,
I saw that. Yeah,
terrible.
He
event.
probably has got one gun shell left.
yeah, maybe
Maybe.
1 or 2.
Okay, yeah.
If it
'Cause I
made
mean-
it past that,
Because this right here, you said it gives the average, or even if somebody hasn't shot
yes,
with this optics, we're talking about a 75 to 85% or higher chance.
84% first hit probability from 350 to 500 yards with every user we have brought out from ages 9 to 48. The average user has shot 200 to 7,000 rounds.
So here's the
My
thing, right?
goodness.
A certain incident may have happened this past week, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's impossible to hit 200 yards," and
No, it's actually not at all. That's very
I'm
Two
easy.
like, everyone here that's saying it's easy to hit 200, it's not easy to hit 200 yards. Y'all are from the fucking city,
Yeah.
dead serious. Like, I've never
It's
shot. I'm like, yo, if I had that guy's scope,
you could
I
do it
could
later on.
easily hit like 500
Well, I mean,
yards.
Stan will tell you himself, he's never shot beyond 100 yards, and
right.
he said he barely at that. There's video of him saying, "I can't hit beep," you know?
Mhm. But I
So
saw your the one YouTube where I think it was like 653
yeah,
yards or
that's right.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. I did another
By
one
the
at
way,
9.
his YouTube is literally SWAT Optics.
Yeah, so it's not hard to figure out.
Yeah. SWAToptics.com.
Yeah, SWAToptics.com. But yeah,
Yeah.
essentially, so I mean, it just makes it really easy
Mhm.
to shoot. It makes it really easy to measure things instantly within 5 minutes of training and very little time behind the trigger. I can literally turn anybody into a designated marksman with this thing in
Wow.
5 minutes.
What's the goal in the next
The
6 months
goal is to
to
build up the civilian sector to make sure that I can fund the military side to make sure that our boys come home.
okay.
Because when you have this tool, right? When you have this tool, yeah, I mean, yeah. And if you go to videos, you go to shorts, you'll see like
Right.
you'll see so many people. This is the 8-inch one right here, 653 yards. And then I've got so many shorts. This guy's never shot before. This guy
Okay.
says like Swarovski, yeah, never
I'm right
shot.
here, by the way. This
Yeah,
is our friend. He's got about over, 50 confirmed kills.
yeah, 70 something, I think.
72,
This guy
exactly.
this one right here, I'm shooting watermelon at 580 yards, and I mean, so the idea is being able to, for example, everybody says, "Well, I can just use a laser rangefinder."
Mhm.
Great, but in a modern battlefield, you can't. And laser rangefinders are subject to jamming and everything else.
Mhm.
So this guy was a TAC P, and he was flipping out on it.
So I know we have the white background. I'm not sure if that's gonna be picking up on the YouTube video, but,
It's there.
uh,
People can find it. Just
at
look
the end
up
of the
SWAT
day, yeah,
Optics.
we'll put the descriptions and stuff
Yeah,
in there. So this is an intentional product.
correct. It's very intentional to make sure good people have the ability to
Yeah,
protect themselves at an entirely new level,
yeah.
right? Because every optics manufacturer, in my opinion, keeps coming out with a washed out version of the same optic. Right?
Mhm.
Essentially, they'll change a couple things in the reticle and go, "Ooh, it's the new one," and people go, "Oh, wow!" And they turn around and go spend $2,800 on an optic, and
Sounds like a
yeah,
certain company that,
yeah,
has an apple on it.
yeah, and it's the same washed up product just with a couple little changes, and people go, "Oh, wow!" My goal with this product is to sell as many as these can so as I can so that I can finish the technology behind the 96-page patent that I have and the 57 algorithms that I have so that
Mhm.
I can actually produce something that the world has never seen that will only be for our military because I will make it. And my goal is to make it to where nobody ever wants to go to. Not that you want to go to war with the United States, but to where I bring as many of our boys home as possible
Right.
without having to use the same washed up optic.
Mm,
The same old mil dot, MOA, the traditional BDC with very limited measurement tools and all. I'm fixing this.
mm.
I'm changing this.
Nice.
I'm going to revolutionize this.
That's what else do you have going on in your life right now other than the like the SWAT optics? What other ventures are you
Pretty much, that's pretty much it right now.
you
I have real estate also, but I haven't been doing a lot of real estate,
okay.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm trying to build a brand,
Right.
and to build a brand takes a ton of time.
What's the best advice you would give for an entrepreneur out there building a brand?
I would say be consistent,
Mhm.
right? Be consistent. And here's nothing to it. If you don't believe in what you have, no one else is going to.
So
Be sincere.
belief,
Be sincere because sincerity
sincerity,
sells.
and then consistency.
Yep. Correct. And lots of prayer.
You got to get down on your
You
knees.
better get down on your knees and ask the Lord, man, because without it, it ain't happening. So
Awesome, awesome,
prayer,
awesome.
your prayers can move mountains, but at the end of the day, you got to pray, and you got to
Yes,
do the
yes.
work.
Nah, and that's the thing. Speaking about work, you are a hard worker. um, you you're not going to bed until the task is done, no matter if you have to stay up to 4 a.m. I mean that
Even if I don't get to go to sleep that whole day,
yeah.
I'm gonna finish what I've said I'm gonna finish,
Hmm.
and then I can rest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Oh, fucking hell.
we're gonna
Oh
have
shit!
some
Ow.
bloopers with him.
Oh
We
yeah.
always have bloopers when I'm around.
He is a little bit younger, so we got to have some patience and some grace with him. Let's get that light back on. Um, so we were talking about you said earlier in the interview or early in the podcast, you said you have multiple degrees.
I do.
Um, are you using all of them or
No.
what's
No, I have a degree in criminal justice. I mean, I went to bodyguard schools. I have a degree in accounting. I have a degree in business, a bachelor's of science. I have 50 certifications in artificial intelligence, machine learning, project management, agile, waterfall, yada 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 yada. And no, I'm not using them all. Not even close. Right? Not even close. My life is an MBA.
so here's a question to ask then for the younger generation
Mhm.
because everybody's moving everywhere, but how could you give them or what advice could you give them to focus in or dial in just like you dial in
So
with your optics
I
to hit
would
the right target?
so what I would do
Yeah.
is I would say that in all honesty, right? Everybody thinks you have to go to college to be successful. And I would say that's incorrect. And it's incorrect thinking. I think a lot of people, and I think what we're really missing is a lot of people need trades, right?
Specialized skill set.
So
Specialized skill sets
I
because
forgot which newsletter said this, but there was some newsletter on plumbers. They're like, hey,
yeah,
by end of 2030, we need 500,000 plumbers
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
to refill everything. I'm like, guys, and I'll go back to something.
Welders,
Well,
plumbers,
welders,
AC.
we need like 1.1 million.
Yeah. Look at the airline pilots. We have a shortage of airline pilots coming.
They're
So
getting paid like 300 an hour.
yeah, yeah. I mean, not starting off. Their start off pay is horrible, but
It's
after a
like
few
50
years,
bucks
yeah,
at
yeah,
startup, but
yeah.
that's still better than
Yeah, it's like
most of the
40
industry.
grand or 35,000 or something. It's horrible in the first year. But however, with that being said, um, I would say look at trades, right? Honestly, you can go back to school whenever. You're not a failure. And I think we have to get this out of our kids' mindsets that you're a failure if you don't go to college.
You're I think you're a failure when you stop learning.
That's exactly right. But in the mindset, people think that I'm a failure if I don't go to college, if I don't get a degree. And that needs to change, right? I think you need to get a trade. You need to, yeah, you need
Yeah.
to learn a skill that can make you a ton of money, right?
About
And
10
I don't mean
years
drop
ago,
shipping. I'm not talking about drop shipping.
about 10 years ago, people were doing podcasts. They're like, we need people to go to college because there's too many trades.
Yeah.
But now when you look at it, everyone's like, okay, they need to go into trades, but no one's going because they don't think it's true.
They don't think it's true, and they think it's a lot of people think it's beneath them or that they're, settling and all
Mm.
this kind of stuff. But you're getting paid and you're not having to take out the same kind of generally, not in every case, but you're not having to take out the same kind of you're not having to compete in the same kind of job market either.
We
Right.
You go get a degree in business and you go try to apply for a job. How many other people have a degree in business?
a
What separates? Yeah, I mean, it's saturated.
unless you have a business that you've ran for a long time,
Even
it's
if you did, they don't
successful.
want you then
Because you have your own experience.
yeah,
It's
you
gonna
have your own
contradict what they say.
yeah, yeah. They don't want you to have your own experience. They want you to be their little dummy, right? And that's unfortunately, but it's sad, but it's true. It's like I remember when I applied for this job a long time ago, and this is a long time ago. The vice president of the company called me up, and I had
Mhm.
just got the job, and I had met with the shareholders. They asked me a bunch of questions, and they turn around and they said he calls me up, the vice president. He says, "You think I'm a dummy?" I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, I don't understand what you mean. You think you're going to take my job?" I said, "Sir, I just applied for a senior director of analytics position. You're the vice president. I'm not trying to take your job."
Right.
He says, "You think I'm a fucking idiot?" I said,
He was threatening
I said,
threatened
I
by
said,
you.
I said, I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand. And he goes on and on and on and on and on for about 20 minutes. And I'm pull over and I thought it was like a test. I'm like, oh, really? Is this guy cursing at me? I just applied for the job.
Yeah.
And he says, well, if your own company was successful, then you wouldn't be coming to work here. And I said, okay. I said, but you want to know something? I've got the perfect job for you. He
Mm.
says, you do what? I said, yeah, you can start screening new applicants for me. And I hung up on him.
Wow.
So,
So I'm gonna transition a little bit
yeah,
with some rapid fire questions. Your first rifle you ever owned.
Bushmaster AR-15. It was
Red.
actually called the EM-15.
Okay, red dot or LPVO if you would only choose one.
LPVO.
Easy.
Why?
Because the magnification range. So if you're using a red dot, it looks cool. Sure, great. It might be better up close, but you don't have the ability to positive ID something that's far away. Not everything's about engaging a firefight. If I can't see how far away the problem is, I don't know if I can evade it. Also, I may not be able to see it if it's shooting at me.
Yeah. Favorite caliber to shoot for fun.
Either 224 Valkyrie or 6 arc.
Mm. Um.
This guy has too many guns.
So, hunt of a lifetime. Where are you going, and what are you chasing?
Hunt of a lifetime?
Yeah, your hunt of a lifetime.
I would like to go shoot hogs, man. To me, that's out of a helicopter
Mm. One piece of gear you
with a minigun.
What is one piece of gear you never leave without, or
Uh,
leave home without?
Probably my pocket knife.
You gotta always have that.
Right here. Gotta have it.
Yike.
Look, this guy has like what? When I was at the gun show with him, he pulled out like 6 different knives.
Yeah, I
and
always have a
just
knife.
like,
I always have a couple of them on me.
and I was just like, he had 6, and then I went to Taylor, and he pulls out like 10 of them. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
where are you keeping all this stuff? And then he shows me his bag. He's like, oh, here's a bear cutting knife, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, why?
Yeah.
I'm like, we are at a gun show. You have guns. There's guns all around. You'll live.
But you can't use guns to open boxes. And we
Yes.
open a lot of boxes.
I mean, you know those
Cut tape, open boxes,
that,
cut zip ties.
you know, Gears of War.
Yeah, there
Right?
you go.
You
Yeah.
know the blade at the end
Never saw it.
on the gun.
No. Never saw
It don't exist.
I don't a blade on the gun.
You're talking about
I'm talking about Gears of War.
That's a video game, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Yeah, but I only saw like the beginning, like the first one, and I only saw like the first level because I didn't get to play it. I didn't have one of those machines. I was working. So.
Here's the last question. One word that sums up SWAT Optics.
Powerful.
Precision.
That too.
Precision. Like that. Well, Scott, it was a pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thanks for having me on.
You guys can follow him. What's your social media handles?
SWAT Optics.
So
Literally
everything
SWAT Optics.
across the
SWAT
board.
Optics.
Let's do it. Let's do it all together. 1, 2, 3.
SWAToptics.com. Hell yeah.
Until next time.